out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature somewhere. And in my area, it was supposed to rain. So Starlight's like, well, I better get to the library, and it hasn't rained yet. So that does happen, and the percentage was pretty high for today. But anyway, I don't know where you live, like hopefully you were able to get out in nature somewhere. Starlight was out, but the library is open at a certain time. So especially on a Sunday, this is like the only library open today. So it is not easy for Starlight to do videos. I always have to find out what library is open and where is it located and all that good stuff. But I'm not here to complain about all that stuff. It's to inspire you to be the change that you want to see in the world. And things always happen for a reason. God, the universe, has us in certain places to meet up with different people at different times. Sometimes it's a lesson to learn. Like I learned a lesson last night where I went. I was like, you got to listen to your intuition really when it comes to things going around, in your life, the people and things or events that are happening around you. Listen to your intuition because it does not lie to you, where if you get a really bad feeling about someone or something, I have noticed that later on, I find out I was right. I knew it. I just knew. But I just waited out and find out later on. I'm like, okay, I was right. So anyway, I hope all of you are able to get out in nature somewhere, and also is to be the change that you want to see in the world. I hope you're working on yourself. Like I say, it's every second of the minute, every minute of the hour, every hour of the day, every week of the month, every month of the year. It's an all the time, 24/7 hours, 24/7, hours in the week, or whatever, is that you really do it. It's where you constantly have to keep check on how you're doing. And it is okay, because this happens to Starlight. Sometimes you're not going to quite measure up to what you wanted in one day. And I'm not talking about measuring up to other people. Absolutely not. Forget about everybody else. It's all about you. Whoops, you. So it is. It's all about you, as trying to be a better version of yourself that you were yesterday, and it is so important not to compete with other people like the school system teaches us, that is the wrong way, is that we all are uniquely the way God made us, or the universe, so work on you and just try to be a better you today than you were yesterday. And, and don't beat yourself up if you didn't quite do something. Starlight, believe me, last night, I goofed up on something and I'm like, oh, like what was I thinking? And then this morning, I'm like, so that does happen. And it could be anything. It could be the people you surround yourself with. It could be the food that you eat, or the music that you listen to that you're like, so Starlight's going through a lot of adjustments, and I know you must be too, is, just trying to find what it is that works for you. It's so important, and I am so sorry for this long introduction here on this video, but these messages are so important anyway. And if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight. And remember, we are made out of stardust. And on YouTube, and that's Kathy with a K, Dingman. Plus, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can follow me on Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on at Facebook at Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So anyway, thank you for returning to watch any of these videos that I do make. And today, I know I reached out to you a few days ago on a topic, and there's so much more and I just have to kind of express this out a little bit more, but the universe and the archangels have messages for all of you. And, the only way that you're going to get those messages is it does take a lot of work. I got some homework today to do. Last night I was going to do it. And then Starlight was getting tired, so I had to, go to sleep, and get that rest that I need. So later on, now I got that homework for later on, and that's why don't be too hard on yourself if you can't get everything done in a day. So this is a tough time for Starlight, because when the time changes, Starlight it's a mind trick for me. It really is. It's like, it's dark out, it makes me feel like it's 8 o'clock when it's only 5 o'clock. So, it does something to me. Every year I go through the same thing every year. But when spring comes, ching, I'm like a spring chicken, or rooster, I don't know what time they wake up every morning, sounding their alarms off, but, Starlight's really ready for everything. When spring comes, it's just wintertime, the fall, when the times go back, fall back, that's when Starlight kind of goes to bed early. But anyway, is the archangels, there's so many ways in the universe. The universe uses the archangels to reach out to all of you and to tell you things that is so vitally important. And the reason I am mentioning this video is because I'm making this video about the archangels is because, like I said in the beginning of this video, we are not perfect. And there's times that, you might be, like I just made a video, sent it out yesterday about what path are you going on? Are you going to eat the healthy way? Where, there's times that, people know they should not be eating certain things, but then they, they might get invited to somebody's house and you didn't have to pay any money. And so Starlight made that video because I was going through stuff because of my situation. I wouldn't even be buying the food if I had my own apartment. That's not stuff I would have picked up and put in my shopping cart. It's not stuff that I would have paid for. But then, I get food for free. Who can't say no to free food? But what I do is I get a lot of free food in my situation, living in my car, and so I do. I hand out a lot of free food to other people that could use it in the area that I used to live. So there are times I go out, and people are like, hey, there's times every time when I go out to a soup kitchen, I don't know what's for dinner. If I knew ahead of time, well, Starlight, we're having this for dinner, then I'd be like, okay, I guess I'm not going to go out to dinner that night because I don't eat that food. But here I drive all the way out there or whatever to go to this place, or I might stay out in that town for the whole entire day because I'm like, hey, they're going to have a dinner, and I show up, I get there, when the doors are open, and then I find out, oh no, that's not the food, I'm not going to eat the meat. But it is so hard, and I'm not going to say it's easy, so that's why I made that video. And now I'm, and not that I'm always going to make the right choices. There's times that we're going to eat stuff we didn't know about. We're like, ooh, I didn't know that had that in there. So don't be too hard on yourself, It's just that, every day you could just do a little bit better than the day before, and just don't be hard on yourself. I used to say, Starlight, you should not have done that. So now I'm learning not to, I'm my worst criticizer. Nobody can criticize Starlight like Starlight can criticize myself, and you might feel the same about you, where, some people might say stuff, or hit you in a place that you don't see it coming, one of those times where maybe a family or a friend might say something to you, and, you don't see it coming, and boom, there it goes, I know I'm going through stuff right now where sometimes you just don't know how people are going to respond, or are they going to respond? So there's so many ways, how we react and respond to different situations in our life. So the whole point is don't be too hard on yourself, believe me. And I've made other videos about the Archangels in the universe, so you can check those out. It's the Archangel in the Universe playlist. So check those out. My very first video was, like a very important video, is Are You Searching for Guidance? So some of you might not believe in this stuff. Some of you definitely might believe in this. Is that, I've made many, many videos about the numbers, really paying attention to numbers. And that is one of the ways that the Archangels reach out to you is through numbers, repeated numbers. I got 1111 just the other day when I was writing to somebody, and I was like, wow, I just said something of a truth, and boom, I'm like, wow, laugh out loud, there's that 1111 again. So numbers are very important. Like when I drive somewhere, repeated numbers when you're driving down the road, like the speed limit, you might be on a certain road and it says 65, 65, 65, 65, or it might be a route, route 20, or exit 23, exit 23, like you'll see these signs that repeat themselves, and that's what I do is I check those numbers out, or telephone numbers where I used to work. It's kind of weird, every time I went there to go to work, two of the telephone numbers that were right on the paperwork or on vans, that when I showed up to work, 9999. I'm like, okay. And then, Route 9, I kept on Route 9. It was like I could not for a while get away from nines, they were everywhere, either just a single 9 or 9999. So numbers are really important to pay attention to, and you can go on, either Google it, or I go on YouTube and say, hey, what does number 9999 mean? So not only numbers were the Archangels, and I'll tell you, please, write them down. I have a pad of paper on the side of me, when I'm driving around, and I write those numbers down as I'm driving, and I know, shame on Starlight, but if I don't write them down, I'm going to forget. And then when I'm not driving, I check those numbers out and see, okay, what does number 23, because I kept on getting that, my GPS, like a 100 feet or 1,000 feet, you're going to take exit 23, or a mile, from where you are, you're going to take exit 23, and then there's signs on the side that would, exit 23, exit, and I would get to exit 23. So, and depending, and that's why, I understand, there's a person out there that makes videos also, and and this has been, a tough thing, is to change up your routine. I have a difficult time with that sometimes, is changing my routine and going different places. Because if you go to the same place, you drive to the same place, more than likely you're going to see the same repeated numbers all over again. And that is not what you want. You don't want to see the same repeating numbers over and over again. That's why it's so good, to switch things up. Don't keep on going to the same hiking places. And, because then when you go there, of course you're going to see other numbers mixed up with the other numbers that you normally would see. And it all depends on where, what your thought process is. If you don't like the numbers that you're receiving, you got to really think of how you are thinking as a person. Are you thinking positive? Because if you're not thinking positive, the universe is going to give you numbers that's going to say, Starlight, you got to think positive. If you're creating your reality, you are creating reality. So if you're thinking negative and you're having negative thoughts and you're not believing and trusting in those desires that you want, there's definitely things I desire in my life, so if you desire certain things in your life, but you're thinking that will never happen for me, well, then it's exactly what is going to happen. That's never going to happen for you, because why? You're bringing that into your reality. You're believing that it's never going to happen to you. So it never does. So, and then there's going to be people when you have a desire in your life, there's lots of things I desire in my life, either a person that I desire to manifest in my reality. And, with that note there is sometimes we're tested. So you say you desire that one right there, right? Oh yeah, that one, no doubt about it. That, that particular guy or woman, you might say that lady, or that man you desire in your life, and but you might think, that person makes way too much money, or you might not be loving yourself, and say, well, they're just too uppity up for me. I'll never get with that kind of guy, or that person's famous or popular, or that person, what they do for a job. I'll never get a girl or a guy like that, because you really have to love yourself enough to believe in yourself enough that if you work on yourself, how do you know that you're not gonna, and really do you know enough about that person that you really desire? It's not about the outside, it's definitely about the inside. Absolutely. I knew that a long time ago. It's just Starlight never had good taste in my past, and it's just because of my heart. I always cared. I always wanted to fix things, misfix it. Oh, I just want to fix that, fix this, fix that person. And, so a lot of females go through that, is where they want to change men, and help them. But really, if they weren't doing those things in the first place, what makes you think they're going to start living that way, because you popped in, So you want to definitely know the type of person that you want, or not want, but desire in your life. Are they, going to help you to be the change that you want to see in the world? So that's another video I do want to make later on at another time. But as far as numbers go, if you get a number and, that it repeats itself, and then you look it up and you're like, hey, the one that you desire, they desire you back. Oh, they desire me back? Really? So you gotta trust and believe the process, and believe in yourself enough that you are enough, you have enough, and that it is about the inside. But you do have to do the work in order for those people to resonate with you and where you are on that same frequency. Because if you are doubting yourself and thinking that you're not worthy enough of love, or that particular person that you desire to be with, then you're at a lower frequency. And if they're at a higher frequency, and some people, they have lots of choices out there to pick because of their position in life. Maybe they have been doing a lot of work, where, hey, that person might be able to pick any guy or any girl. And whoopsie, it doesn't mean that they're not going to desire you. But if they have been working on themselves, you really have to kind of line up with what kind of work they're doing. Because why would it be, like, if I'm really working on myself like I am, why would I want to go with somebody that's not working on themselves? Why would I want to go with somebody that's not working on their eating habits, or exercising, or being that change in the world? So if you want to go with somebody that is being the change that they want to see in the world, don't you think you ought to be working on yourself to be the change that you want to see in the world too? Because that way you're lined up with each other. Your frequency is, the same, where you're not going to be, everything's not going to be exactly the same. There's going to be some things that you're a little different than they are, and that's okay. But a good portion of it should be, aligned with each other. And besides relationships, the job, or a place that you desire to live, God knows your thoughts. God knows everything is going on. So if the angels or the universe says, Starlight, you're not being positive, or you're not believing in that you can manifest that person or that job or the location that you want to move to, then you're going to get numbers that are going to give you that information where you're like, the universe or the angels are trying to tell me that I got to trust in myself and believe in myself. But when you get those messages that the universe is trying to tell you that, yeah, you got to work on yourself more, that you got to do that inside job, you got to do that inside work, and that's where you're going to find out how to work on yourself, is through these numbers, not just repeated numbers like 1111, and then there's 1010. Starlight's been getting 1010 a lot, so those numbers all mean something. is another way is symbols. Symbols are very important. Like there's a place I go to, and not that it's summer and I would see this outside, but she's got a beautiful grasshopper on her shirt, on her work shirt that she wears. So anytime that she goes to work at that place, that little grasshopper is there, so that's a sign, that's a symbol. What does it mean when I see a grasshopper? Like the other day, crows. I was feeding the crows. The other day I seen not a fawn. It was a fawn that I seen at a park. What does it mean when you see a fawn? What does it mean? Now you're probably going to check out, what does it mean when you see a fawn? Those are ways that the angels in the universe wants to reach out to you and give you information, messages, where you can know the areas, like that is, and you do have to be patient. Sometimes you might get repeated messages, and it's a way of giving you hope and for you to believe in the things that you're seeking or desiring in your life is, because that happened a while back with me, and that's why I'm kind of in this situation where I am now, is you really, if you fear stuff and you're thinking, you fear something, and you're not trusting that God's going to bring you through something, that, you could end up in a situation because you feared it so much, you made it a part of your reality. So you do have to, be careful what you're thinking, and as far as being positive or negative. So the reason why I kind of wanted to make this video a little bit different than other videos that I made about the archangels in the universe is because you got to do the homework. Like in dreams, I had so many, I got to look up numbers and dreams. Like I said last night, I got so tired, it's like, and there's a routine that you got to do every day, you got to mix it up, but you want to make sure that you take care, do what God wants you to do first. That's your first thing to do. Then to take care of, like if God gives you like homework, make sure you're doing the homework God said, or the angels, like if the angels said you got to be positive, you got to be right on top of that and be positive, even if you got to put sticky notes, all around like I did in my apartment. I had so many sticky notes, and it really helped me out. And using affirmations, the I am affirmations, I am positive, I am abundant, I am beautiful inside and out. All those, I mean, in the beginning, you might think it's crazy when you think, I'm not any of these things. I'm not abundant, but I'm going to say these affirmations saying I am abundant. Yes, do it. Believe me, you got to keep on doing those affirmations. Try to do those every day. They're so important. Like you could do what I do is before I get going in my car, I'll set I am affirmations on YouTube and have it on the dashboard, where I can hear affirmations as I'm driving and where I can repeat them, and after a while, it's amazing. It does take time. So those are ways that the angels can speak to you, is do a dream study, which I have videos on that, is to check out your dreams, write them down. And I've been having a very hard time in my situation, my setup, and, in the back seat of my car, where there's times, like I get so uncomfortable in the middle of the night and I lose a lot of sleep because, there's some people I've known in my life where my daughter's like this. She can knock out anywhere. Bing, done. She's done for the night. Starlight is not like that. So comfort is everything to me. I've known people that can sit in a lawn chair or lay in a lawn chair and fall asleep like that. Or, even when I'm at a library, there's a guy that sleeps in the hallway. Every single time I come here, where is he? He's in the hallway. He's got 2 chairs and he has his head on the one, sofa or whatever. And, his body is like halfway down in between the 2 seats that he, but he's knocked out cold. Starlight's not like that. I toss and turn, and especially on the back seat, of a car. So everybody says, oh, isn't it freezing in your car? Really, it's not about the temperature. It's about comfort for me. So if you're worried about the temperature, it's really when it's 20 below. That's when it gets kind of cold. That's when normally I don't wear socks. You don't wear socks in the car? Yeah, I want to breathe. My feet need to breathe at night. But when it gets 20 below, that's when, ooh, I better get my socks on now because if they're getting cold. So it's not about the temperature, it's about comfort, really. So anyway, the universe will reach out to you about your dreams, and you got to study them. Like I have a video on how to have a dream study. So it is so important to write down your dream, all the details, and I can't go through all this all over again. If you really want to learn how to do a dream study, you're going to have to check that video out as to how to have a dream study. And it's so vitally important. Not only you write out your dreams, you do the homework. The universe is going to have information. There's times, do you like getting criticized? But there's this word for it is, I always forget, my memory's not so good, but it's where you can, somebody can tell you something that you need to work on, but it doesn't offend you, that you're like, you know what, thank you, I actually needed that. So Starlight has been really good about that. There's a name for it, and all of you are probably saying the name, and I can't, what was that? I can't. There's a name, my daughter knows it instantly. If I told my daughter, boom, she'd have it right out there. But it's people, not everybody's like this, but Starlight is, if you want to help me out and you see something that I am not doing quite right, and you're not being ugly and nasty about it, and you say, hey, Starlight, I could see a flaw, like my twin flame does this, it is kind of funny how my twin flame can work on me and do different things and show me my flaws. And I do love my twin flame, but he definitely knows how to rub me the wrong way sometimes. So it is something how people might rub you the wrong way, but they're really trying to help you out where, a lot of people get offended, they get upset, and that can definitely happen. But so there's a word for it. Everybody's yelling out the word, but I can't hear you, is where you can take criticism, right? Where they're not really trying to tear you down and tear you apart. They're saying, Starlight, you really got to work on this, girl. Like it could be eating food that's not healthy for you, and you might not know that it's not healthy for you. What are you eating, Starlight? Why are you eating that? Don't you know when you eat it, it tastes really good, but later on you get tired after? That happened today. I ate the wrong stuff again, and I'm like, I felt good before, then I got tired. So, and like I said, don't be hard on yourself, but so you got to do the homework when all these numbers, and it's a lot of work. That means, I got so many titles and topics that I want to talk about when I make these videos. Sometimes I got, boom, 2 topics already, 2 different videos, but so the other way that the Archangels and universe sends messages is through people like Starlight. So that's why I am here. Hopefully you are getting help from one video or another, depending on what you need and where you are as far as growth level goes. Not everybody needs every single video that I put out. Some people will ignore videos because they don't want to work on that, like a food topic. I love eating junk food. I'm not going to watch that video about eating healthy. Well, don't call me up later on when the doctor, you get a doctor visit, and doctor's like, so I'm not wishing anything bad to happen to people, but really it's wise to start when you're young, because it does. I know a lot of people, that their health went down the hill because they were eating all that junk food that was not good for them, and then they're wondering, why is my gut feeling this way, and so there's different ways that food can affect you in a wrong way. And like Starlight's I'm working on a bad habit, is eating right before you lay down to go to sleep. So that's another no-no. Take it from somebody that knows that. Do you like pains? That could really give you some pains in your gut sometime throughout the day, and you really don't want that. So take it from somebody that knows this. So that is something that Starlight is working on. So please don't eat right before you go to bed. So I did good last night. I'm going to pat myself on the back. So the universe actually uses people like Starlight, or it could be a homeless person, that you might say hello to. And just because somebody is living on the street or living in their car, it doesn't mean that they can't be used of God. So be careful the kind of how you treat homeless people, because they could be the one that has the very answer that you've been searching for your whole life. So really be respectful of everyone, even if they are homeless. So it could be a homeless person that could tell you something or say something, and it might not hit you right away. It could hit you later on or years down the road. I just tweeted somebody out last night, tweaked somebody out last night. I felt like I kind of had to in a weird way, and God does these things sometimes. People just plant a seed, and somebody did that to me years ago. They planted a seed, but they never watered it. For the longest time, that seed never got watered, until I started watching a deep diver out there on the YouTube channel, and I was like, then that seed started getting watered. That person didn't know the seed got planted, but he just kept on watering that seed. And then I was like, bam, then reality hit, where I started understanding stuff that I didn't understand for years, and God knew I wanted the answer. I'm like, somebody, like, it's like a tease. They tell you something, but even though when you hear it, you think that person's nuts. So that's what I kind of tweaked somebody out last night at a soup kitchen, where I said some things, that were truthful, but and I could tell his body language was so readable, and I was like, ooh boy, I tweaked him out, where he had enough. It just was an overload for him. But you know what? It says in the Bible, God's word is never void. So, like God's word, when God uses something or uses someone to say something to you, it's not, it doesn't, words are very powerful. So be careful of the kind of words you can, that you use. You can do it to edify people and encourage and inspire. At the same time, you could tear them down and rip them apart. So it's all up to you on how you use your tongue, but use it wisely. So God and the universe does use people like YouTubers out there. Or like I said, it could be a homeless person. It might not be the guy that you think is smart and intelligent, because their level of intelligence and wisdom, not wisdom, but you might look up to somebody and think, wow, because this happened to Starlight. I thought this one guy that I really had a thing for, and, and I don't say that in a wrong way, a person that I, knew before, where I thought, wow, he's really intelligent. But then I realized that really that intelligent wasn't very intelligent at all. So you really got to be careful. Sometimes you might look up to people that you think, wow, this, they might be book smart, but, like Starlight's more street smart than book smart. So what kind of wisdom and knowledge is it going to help you to become your greatest version? Or, there's different kind of intelligence out there. So don't be fooled by the ones that you think are going to give you all the answers. They might be the ones that are sleeping. Because that does happen, and that has definitely been a wake-up call for me, where, you might think somebody's really intelligent, thinking they're the ones that's going to give you the answer, to find out really they didn't really know anything at all. And I'm not saying I know anything at all. I feel like I'm just starting, really. There's so much more that I am going to be learning. So those are ways. Tarot card readers also, but you got to be lined up with them if they resonate with you. Like I've had some tarot card readers lately giving me different answers, in my life, as far as the things that, or the people that I desire in my life. So you got to really believe in yourself and trust the universe, and ask the universe questions. Go away. I mean, I'm not telling you to go away, but really ask God, the universe, whatever it is, and that's how you're gonna get those answers one way or another. I guarantee you're gonna get those answers either through a tarot card guy reader or a girl, because there are guys and girls out there. I had one of the tarot card reader guys that saved my ass months ago. Starlight was gonna do a no-no. I was gonna break the law again, and but God's like, can't let you do it this time, Starlight. And it's amazing how the universe can use a tarot card reader right when you're doing stuff, and you had a habit of doing something that was illegal, and no guilty conscience or anything, and like, because it became a habit. And then one day the universe knocks on your door and says, Starlight, huh? What? And, I could have done the same thing, that habit that I was doing all the time every year. But that tarot card, it's amazing how I was doing a no-no, like right at the time I was listening. This is when I was in my apartment, and I was watching my flat screen TV, and I had my laptop in front of me doing some naughty stuff, and I can't tell you, it's a top secret, where, I was going to do something, and, I couldn't believe my ears. I was like, what? My tarot card guy, I got like 3 or 4 of them now that I do listen to off and on, and I was just amazed. I was like, God's talking to me today, warning me, shit was going to hit the fan if I just kept on doing what I was doing. All I had to do was just push the send button. That's how, it's amazing how the universe was like, Starlight, you are a new version of yourself now. Yeah? Well, you got to let go of that old version of yourself in order for the new version of yourself to be here. Oh, okay. I better not do that one, right? So I have to laugh. It is amazing how God, the universe, and the angels can put people in your path, and it could be somebody that you might have issues with. And this happened a while back with me, where I was like, you blankety blank, I actually was upset with this person, but then I thought about what they said, and it might have not have came from a good source. It might have been somebody that might have been abusive to me when I was younger, but what they said is exactly what I needed. So you got to be able to take criticism, and if you don't take criticism very well, especially the ones that are, especially when God, the universe, uses those particular people to get a point across, is that you could, if you don't listen to those people, even though it was somebody that you might, not so much that you might have had a hard time with, maybe they always had a hard time with you, that if you don't listen to them and take heed to what God is telling you, you could end up in a lot of trouble. So, that's where you got to put your pride down and say, you know what, I better listen this time, because I do want change, and I need to, there's some things that you might get caught up in, and, get so used to doing it that you don't even realize that it's a no-no until God knocks on your door. Yes, so what are you going to do? Are you going to listen and do the homework and let that go? Or are you going to repeat the same thing, that you have? Maybe you've gotten away with it, that's why sometimes people might get away with things over and over and over and over again. It doesn't mean that God doesn't see that shit. So God sees it, God knows, God can hear, no matter if it's behind closed doors or not. Don't be deceived. God sees and hears everything you're doing. So, God, the universe, does use the archangels to show you these things, to give you signs, and use people out there. So, in it, another thing, I know this is a long video, and it's going to be okay. You're gonna get through this. Is the other thing, and I've learned this over and over again throughout my whole life, Don't be deceived on the outward appearance, okay? I know that people look at me, they look on the outward appearance. Some people might look up to certain people because of how the outward appearance look, where they're, hey, that looks like a smart person. That guy or girl looks like an intelligent person. But what kind of intelligence do they have? So you got to be really careful about the outward appearance. Don't fall for that person could never help me out because of what they look like on the outside. God can use anyone. Not he, but God can use anyone the universe, God, wants to use to get a message to you. So don't just look on the outward appearance thinking just the people that you think look smart are going to be the only ones to give you an answer or help you out in your journey that you're going through. God can use anyone, and God will use anyone. So it could be your enemy, not that it's an enemy that you have, somebody, like I said earlier, it might be somebody that doesn't like you, and God could say and yell and all this stuff, but it could be a message, like to you. So numbers, dreams, symbols, animals. So pay attention to all those, but you got to do the homework. Don't just write your dream out, because that's where I am right now. I didn't finish it last night. I have to, because today, let's see, it's not raining still. I would have gone out for a hike today, but the library is only open at certain hours. So Starlight had to get back here, to make sure I get these videos uploaded and, like what I'm doing now, recorded, upload, and edit, and all that goodies, So don't be fooled, by the person. It could be a woman that is, and I don't want to say this, but, it could be anyone. It doesn't matter what kind of clothes they wear, So anyone, God could use anyone or any animal. So really pay attention, open up those beautiful eyes, and not only to use Starlight, let's see where her ears are. See, those are cute little ears. My daughter has fairy ears. I always said, you got fairy ears, I can't say her name, but, so yeah, use your ears and listen out there, even on the radio or even signs on the road. God can put on like I put out there before is a big truck went by. I even get a sign when I go to my therapist, which is the angels that are speaking to me and saying that we're always here for you. So I get that message there with my therapist, or sometimes I'm driving down the road where the angels are reaching out, and it's a sign on an 18-wheeler that goes by, and it's happened to me a couple times. I even get a sign with a Target truck where the universe is letting me know that they are with me. So pay attention to things that repeat themselves or something that pops up all the time, and really pay attention to things around you. A lot of times things are right smack in your face, and like even when I go to people's houses or businesses, there's signs all over, numbers, repeated numbers. So I'm not saying I'm sorry about how long this video is, because I'm not. So anyway, I do love you so much, and I hope you really get a lot of help from this video. Is that the angels, they work super hard. I always tell the universe, I'm like, they need a bonus, I know I really put the angels to work. So find out what the angels do, find out their names, like I said in the other video, and get to work. You really got to do the inside work. And that's how you're going to be the change that you want to see in the world, is by, paying attention to those numbers or symbols or tarot card readers. Find out a tarot card reader, either a guy or a girl, find out a guy or a girl that resonates with you, your sign, find out more about your sign, your date of birth, and all that. All those numbers mean something, so, and throughout the year, there's different portals through every month, so pay attention to those also, what those mean. And I love you so much. And the numbers I also pay attention to is numbers on people's shirts. So those are they stand out, just like the star. If there's a number is on my shirt, that would be a good number to look up and say, wonder what that number means. So anyway, I do love you. You could give this video a thumbs up. You could share my videos with your family, your friends, a cat, a dog, a frog, ribbit. And also you can follow me on Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook at Kathy with a K Dingman. And also you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget, check out my playlist. There are some funky stuff going on some of my playlists. Some of it's about where some people might call it like a mental illness, but it's called spiritual awakenings. So there's a bunch of weird, crazy stuff going on in those. It's almost like going through a sci-fi movie. Starlight loves sci-fi movies, and that's what I desire to do coming up soon. I haven't watched a movie in like so long. So besides looking at my playlist, like I said, my Instagram and my Facebook, I really hope that you are doing that work, that inside work, because it's a lot of work, and you really got to keep up to it, because otherwise you're going to miss out on opportunities and doors, and you don't want to miss out those things that you're really desiring, so you got to really be on all that stuff, and no joke about it, so Starlight's got a lot of work later on. I got lots and lots of, what does it mean? I was just thinking of a dream I had last night. But anyway, I love all of you. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.